We have a Thanksgiving-themed show planned for today, talking about our favorite Thanksgiving food and more. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the NKU Sports Talk Radio Show. I'm your host, Josh Kalb, and with my co-hosts, Noah Miller and Bryan Bauer. This show is going to be a little different today. Since it's on Thanksgiving, it's going to be a little bit different, talking about our favorite Thanksgiving foods, but we'll talk about the NFL games going on because there's some great games going to happen on the weekend and on Thanksgiving. But I want to start off with kind of a sports-related question, but in Thanksgiving terms. So you have to build your Thanksgiving plate, but you have $15. And on your all's papers in front of you, you have all of the prices with the food. And I will go over that real quick before we start so the viewers know. So at $6, we have our turkey, which, why not? It's the most famous Thanksgiving food. $5, we have ham. And then at our $4, mashed potatoes, stuffing, mac and cheese, the most popular sides. At our $3, sweet potato casserole, green bean casserole, broccoli casserole, pumpkin pie, and pecan pie. And then at $2, green beans, sweet potatoes, Brussels sprouts, corn pudding, cranberry sauce, rolls, cornbread, apple pie, and sweet potato pie. And then finishing it off with $1, gravy and salad. So now that you all have seen it, and now that I have listed it, so let's start with you, Noah. What are you going with?
Actually, let's start with Bryan.
Brian,
because mine's going to surprise everybody.
All right,
so.
Brian.
He's calling me vanilla. Okay, it's all right. I'm going to start with here. It's going to be, I guess it would be kind of vanilla. We'll see. I'm going to have stuffing, my favorite thing. It's probably a lot of people's favorites.
Yeah.
That's a good
it's
pick.
solid.
Yeah.
Then we're going to go to another easy one, mac and cheese.
Yep.
So now we're at 8.
Another good pick.
And then I'm going to go with pumpkin pie and sweet potato casserole because those are all just, they're so good. I think maybe I might have another $1 or $2 to go with.
So you said you had $8.
You had 8 off the 2.
Yeah, and then you had pumpkin pie, 11. And then what was your last one?
I think that was the last one was sweet potato casserole. So I'm at 14.
So you have $1 left.
And then gravy. I'm not going for the salad. Screw that.
You could.
I'm not a
What are you gonna put the gravy on? You didn't get mashed potatoes.
turkey.
No,
Because sometimes turkey's dry. So
you didn't get turkey either.
Okay, stuffing. There we go.
All right.
Yeah, I completely forgot what I picked as soon as I said it.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Brian, yours is you have stuffing at $4, mac and cheese at $4, sweet potato casserole at $3, pumpkin pie at $3, and gravy at $1. No meat in there,
No meat.
which is kind of odd, but it's your pick.
Yeah, it is a little odd, but I wanted to pick more of my favorites than just like
Yeah.
what made sense.
I'll go next. We'll leave Noah for last.
Yeah, suspense.
Unlike Brian, I have to go with turkey. I mean, it just feels right. It feels right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with 6. I know that takes up a lot of the money I have.
That takes up a lot of money.
So we're gonna go with stuffing next. I don't think you can go without it. So we're at 10.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with mac and cheese. I'm at 14, and then I'll round it out with the gravy.
Yeah.
I'll put that on my turkey and my stuffing.
None of us need salad. We don't need to be healthy here.
So
Okay.
so mine was turkey at 6, stuffing at 4, mac and cheese at 4, and gravy at 1. I have less. Or we have the same, I believe, same amount of items. So, and there's mine. Noah, you.
Okay, this is so simple. So to have the most absolute best Thanksgiving
Draft. Plate, whatever you want.
draft plate, build your plate, whatever you want to have on Thanksgiving. I wish I could have almost everything on this list, but
For sure.
15 is our budget. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut off. I'm not using gravy or salad. I'm not. $1? No, I don't even need the $1.
Go
Yeah,
with
we
the
ain't
bigger
poor.
ones.
Get that out of here.
Yeah. So turkey, I can't have that. It's at $6. That's way too much. I understand. Like you need turkey for Thanksgiving.
It's a high price.
But it's
Hey,
$6.
man, I got gravy without the meat.
Exactly. I'm not taking that. Not taking ham either. We're done with that.
That's another high price.
We're done with that. So here's what I am taking. I'll quit saying what I'm not taking. Here's what I'm taking. Mashed potatoes with $4.
Okay, 4.
Stuffing makes it 8. Mac and cheese makes it 12. And pumpkin pie makes it 15.
I like it. That's a good one.
That's close.
The sides are good. The sides are
Yes,
extremely good.
those are some high quality sides at a perfect
and
price.
You have dessert too.
And pumpkin pie for dessert at $3.
That's a good one.
That's absolute perfect.
I do like it. And honestly, I don't think you can go wrong with because I would eat both of what you all said too.
Yeah.
So
I almost want to try and make the worst one, but that's
the
hard
worst
because
one?
none of it's like that awful. Like if I wanted to go to the worst one, I guess I'll go with
salad,
corn pudding, salad, cranberry sauce.
The thing is, if you go with the worst ones, though, you get more food.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like the least
bad.
appetizing one I could make.
Okay.
The problem is there's always a guaranteed banger out of some one of these. But maybe for like the average person, they're not gonna like Brussels sprouts with corn pudding with cranberry sauce.
So there's
With
$6.
gravy and salad.
$6.
Okay.
And then we'll put in the gravy and salad. That's $8. So what else?
Okay, we're all doing this. Let's go.
We'll plop on some.
You're at $8.
Let's. We'll do green bean casserole, and
All
then
right.
broccoli casserole. Wait, that might be over.
You're at 14.
Ooh.
And then.
But you already used your
Yeah,
$2
so that would be it for
So
like my least
so you're done.
appetizing one.
All right. You and me go
Least? No, I got this.
Okay.
The least appetizing. Okay.
Give me
Wow.
cranberry for
We're
all.
gonna have gravy and salad, just because you gotta take them.
$2.
Cornbread, cranberry sauce, corn pudding, Brussels sprouts. Anybody know what I'm at?
$10.
Yeah.
10.
Yeah.
There's going to be a certified banger out of all in the crappy ones.
Rolls.
Rolls.
What was that 12?
Yep.
As you can tell, we're not math majors. We're pretty.
And I'm gonna throw in pecan pie. We'll go a little bit
All right.
expensive on that.
That's
probably the worst.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with what both of you said. The Brussels sprouts, corn pudding, and cranberry sauce. That's 6 for me. I'm going to include. I'm not a big broccoli casserole guy, so I'm gonna put in that. That's 9. I'm gonna put in the green bean too, just because it's my personal worst, not overall.
I
You
mean,
like green beans?
I like
Not-
the
not a
one
green
of the
bean
ones I
casserole.
picked. It's just like
And then I'll finish it out with do the salad and then the cornbread because I'd rather have rolls over the cornbread. So there you go.
here's the Thanksgiving. Well,
Best and worst.
Yep.
that's ain't worse.
Our fantasy lineups. The tradition of watching NFL games on NFL or on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, with the traditional
NFL games on
NFL.
Thanksgiving is one of my favorites. I usually always see the Lions and the Cowboys every single year. And there are some great games, the Bills and the Lions earlier in the day, Giants and Cowboys just starting, which I do think that is a good NFC East game.
That's probably going to be the best out of whatever we have on Thanksgiving. Or it is the best. Yeah, that'll be interesting. The Giants are they're still good. They kind of like spiraled a little bit down the stretch here, but I'm very excited to see that game.
Yeah, Cowboys. The Cowboys. I think they're a little bit overhyped. They need to settle down a little bit. Cooper Rush took them far. That's how they have their record. I think if Dak Prescott never got hurt, their record would be a little bit worse.
Really?
Just my opinion.
That's kind of a hot
Just
take.
it is a hot
Dak
take.
Prescott,
It is
I
a
thought
hot
was
take.
decent, but
It is a hot take.
It is.
Cooper Rush, what? Lost one game while he was
correct,
a starter?
Yeah.
And Dax lost 3?
I will say.
I'm just saying.
but is it an easier part of their schedule
I'm
when
just
Cooper?
saying. Was it?
I mean, they played the Bengals, the Rams.
I like how you went straight to the Bengals.
The Bengals are a good team.
It was
the Bengals. That's a winning record. That's a winning team.
I mean, and his first loss was against the Eagles. I mean, everyone lost to the Eagles besides the Commanders.
Yeah.
But still, that's a and that is a good NFC East matchup for a lot of reasons. Patriots and Vikings round out the night. The Vikings are playing at such a high level right now. I mean, I just don't see any way the Patriots will win.
I'm curious to see how Belichick's going to try and coach around this. Their offense is kind of stinky. Their defense is a little bit better, but I don't know what to think of this Patriots team. They've won games. They have a winning record.
I mean, Bill Belichick is known for being a defensive-minded coach. And what are the Vikings best at? Offense.
Do we know if this is it? this in New England, or is it in Minnesota? Because if it's in Minnesota, there's no question. This is not a good game.
I do think Minnesota will win. I do think they'll win anyways, but especially at home.
If Kirk Cousins doesn't play like primetime Kirk Cousins, they have a good chance to win. But you never know with him. I'm not ready to. I'm gonna say he's a good quarterback. It's just he reminds me so much of Andy Dalton on the 2015 team or 2000 whatever, where he has good pieces around him and he can make it work. But there's also times where they make the most boneheaded decisions.
So our producer Seth just told me that Minnesota does host that game.
Okay.
So
it's going to be a lot harder for the Patriots.
It is.
This won't be a good game. This will not be a good game.
It might not
if you're a Vikings fan, you will love it. Patriots,
I mean, look at their offense right now. It is insane.
It is.
Dalvin Cook is a top 5 running back. Justin Jefferson is top 2, not number 2 in the league in wide receivers. And then you can look past Adam Thielen and Jalen Reagor, who are both good. And then your tight end T.J. Hawkinson is playing at such a high level right now.
I have another hot take with T.J. Hawkinson. I don't think him going to the Vikings helped him in his career. I think because he really hasn't done much. And with the Lions, he was a key part of their offense. So I think him going to the Vikings was not a good idea. I mean, it's out of his control. He got traded, but I don't think it was a good fit.
Detroit.
Yeah, but I
feel like personally as a player, if I would rather be on a winning team more than just packing on stats, because at the end of the day, you don't remember stats. You don't care about stats.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, did I get a ring?
I mean,
but at the same time, you want to win, but you also want to play. You want to put up stats. It's not like, oh yeah, I'll get like 50 catches a season for 200 yards as a top 10 tight end in the league and win a ring. Yeah, you're gonna like that, but then you're gonna look at your stats and be like, did I even play?
Yeah, I'll do that for like a year or so.
Yeah.
Eventually.
So speaking of the Vikings, let's talk about that Bills and Vikings games. Game, unbelievable.
Insane.
I mean, Stephon Diggs had one of the best catches of the year, but no one talks about it because Justin Jefferson just surpassed that. I mean, the ball was in the cornerback's hands, and he still brought it in with one hand. I mean, just unbelievable. The fumble at the end of the game. And then just everything about that game was unbelievable.
Yeah, and the Bills blew a lead. They were up 14, and they blew a lead. Also, on that Sunday, it was the first time that 3 teams blew a 14-point lead going into the fourth quarter. And it just so happens it was all the teams in the NFC North.
Wow.
The Vikings came back, the Packers came back, and the Lions came back to beat the Bears.
I think it also cemented the Vikings as a legitimate team because now you can't say, oh, they've beaten NFC opponents.
Yeah, you could say that, but the Bills, Josh Allen's dealing with an injury.
The Bills had been struggling here.
And their whole defense is hurt, so.
I'm just glad people now see them as a mortal team and not they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Makes things a lot more interesting and competitive mentally with the other teams. Like now the Bengals, who are kind of on that line, are going to think we got shot.
Same with the Eagles, really.
Yeah, seeing the way the Bills have been playing, I'm much more confident in the Bengals being able to pull that out because, I mean, the defense is hurt, but the Bills' defense hasn't been that great either. As long as Jamar Chase is healthy by that game and Joe Burrow plays like Joe Burrow, it's an interesting game to watch. They're also, the fact that the Bills aren't leading their division and the Dolphins are, I mean, the Bengals beat the Dolphins. Like, handily, too. It's so wild to think about it. Same with the Jets. Like, when we go back and I think about, those are, like, nothing games, and now we come here and I'm like, at least, so we can beat good teams. Yeah. That's nice to know.
Early in the season, they might not seem like they matter, but situations like this, later in the seasons, it could matter.
Especially with the Dolphins.
You were saying stuff, or one of you were saying stuff about the Bills are beatable. You said that.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing about the Eagles, too, because everybody was like, the Eagles are going to go 17-0.
Yeah. And then they lose to the Commanders.
They lost to the Commanders. So now the whole league is like, okay, you all are beatable. Not only are you beatable, you lost to the Commanders.
Yeah. The NFL has always been like that. It was like that last season with the Cardinals. They started off 6 or 7-0. The Packers come into Arizona, beat them. It happens. And then the
same thing with the Steelers.
Exactly. I mean, it just happens. I mean, the NFL is it's bound to happen with. It doesn't matter how good a team is. I mean, I know the Patriots back earlier in the 2000s with Tom Brady had an undefeated regular season, but they lost in the postseason.
Yeah.
So it's just it's impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, the Dolphins.
It's not impossible. Dolphins have done it.
Yeah, the Dolphins are the only team to do that.
It's highly improbable.
But I don't think anybody else is going to do it.
No, especially not in today's game because talent is so spread around compared to where it was. It's just so hard.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just a lot of that stats and stuff from the past is just not comparable today. Like, even the worst team in the NFL now can still have a chance to win just because you got nice pro talent. It's just maybe they're not gelling together. It could be coach. There's so many different things that
a lot of factors.
Like, for example, the Lions and Packers game.
Yeah.
The Lions probably shouldn't have won that game, but Packers didn't play like they were supposed to, and
there's different rules too.
Lions won.
Yep.
Like, there's different rules, different ways defenses play, which impacts it.
There's just so much that goes into it. I want to talk about a college football game, which I think is extremely underrated. Ole Miss and Mississippi State play that night.
Yeah,
that's a huge game, rivalry game, SEC game even.
And now I'm gonna have a hot take here.
It
has to do with just Mike Leach.
Let's hear it.
I don't think he's that great of a coach. I'm not calling him awful, but nothing he has done has ever, like, to me, been like, wow, this is like an excellent coach. Like, he gets so much love and, like, accolades, and I don't understand why. And even, like, at Mississippi State, I don't think he's done, like, a great job here. I think Ole Miss is gonna win pretty handily, but I don't know. I mean, Mississippi State's offense is good, but
I love these. I love the games between these two. I still remember a couple of years ago, now Jets receiver Elijah Moore doing his celebration. I won't say that on air, but doing his celebration after his touchdown, calls the flag, and then that gave Mississippi State better field position. They won the game because of it.
Oh yeah, when he was peeing like a dog.
Yeah.
They lost the game because of that. That's just. Could you imagine being that player? You're like,
I mean, it doesn't matter. Dude's in the NFL.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but people remember those games. I mean, like, Pat McAfee talks about losing to Pittsburgh and how he was, like, suicidal because of it. I think.
Well, yeah.
And a college basketball game, actually a local one, for tonight is Florida versus Xavier. The Gators come to town. They haven't been as strong as they have been in the past few years, but it is Florida. And they're all the SEC teams, especially now, are getting more physical. But this Xavier team has proved to be good so far. I know you can look at their strength schedule and say otherwise, but they have some key pieces to win this game and get an SEC win.
Yeah, Florida hasn't been good in a long time, and I hate to say this because I hate Xavier, but Xavier's going to win. They're going to I don't want to say handedly because at least early in the season, teams are still figuring out things. You never know. And they got Zach Freemantle. He's a good player. They got a couple possible NBA lottery picks. Sean Miller knows how to coach. Yeah, he can't really get past Elite Eight, but he knows how to coach. I'm going to throw that out there to him. And it's at Xavier. It's Centos Arena. It's hard to win there. I mean, just ask UC. They haven't won a rivalry game there in like a decade. I mean, it's not an easy place to win games. I'm curious to see how Xavier will do against a somewhat better opponent than somebody like Fairfield.
Yeah.
And you mentioned about Fremantle. They also have Jack Nungy, who's a great big man. And Florida actually has one of the best big men in the country. Maybe not as far as NBA draft goes, but as far as college basketball goes, Colin Castleton, that's a player to watch. He is a great center for the Gators. He's been great for the last 2 or 3 years. Made on the SEC, all postseason teams. He's been great. So that'll be a good, fun matchup to watch between Nungy and him. UConn and Oregon is another game. The Huskies are kind of starting to find their stride after falling off for a few years. Oregon, with the loss of talent that they've had in the past few years, recruiting hasn't necessarily been in their favor, but the Ducks have been a pretty solid team year in and year out. I do think this is another game that maybe no one's going to talk about, but it could be a really fun one.
Yeah, UConn's ranked. UConn is they've been in an odd position last few years. With Hurley, they've been better. They went to the tournament last year. I think they're gonna just win this because Oregon, they don't have nearly as much talent, and I think they were good last year. It's been so long that I don't really pay attention a lot to Pac-12 basketball.
Kind of like I mentioned, the lack of talent that they've had because of guys graduating, going to the NBA has kind of hurt the Ducks. past few years. And then we'll round it out with another game, which I think is really good. Alabama at Michigan State. Michigan State, how are they not ranked in the preseason? I don't know. But they took Gonzaga down to the wire. They beat Kentucky. And Alabama is a pretty solid team. Nate Oates has done great in recruiting and kind of building that program back up. And again, it's that SEC school, one of the best SEC schools against one of the, what I would have to say, a top team in the country right now. I think Michigan State has proved that.
Yeah,
at
I
this
think
point.
it's definitely. I completely don't understand why they're not ranked. Like, I mean, obviously they have to be better than probably like 20 of the. Well, I shouldn't say 20 of those teams, but Michigan State proved it. They beat Kentucky. I know Kentucky's had some issues near the end of the game, and the coaching's been a little odd. But like Gonzaga, they lost by 1 to Gonzaga, who's a good team. It's also an aircraft carrier. There might have been environment things that probably played to it. You're playing outdoors.
For sure.
And I know people want to say IU is probably the best Big Ten team. I think Michigan State's definitely going to have a nice run there. Alabama actually has been a decent basketball program the last few years. It's interesting to see because for the longest time they've been kind of a laughingstock. No one paid attention to them. Nate Oates has been doing a good job there. I think what's going to boil down though is Michigan State. His coach, their coach there is so good. They have talented players. They just beat Kentucky. I think they're going to ride that wave and get another victory there.
Yeah, I think Alabama's really underrated in this matchup, and they're just underrated for the reason that you said, because for many years they haven't been good, and like in recent years they've been starting to get better and producing more talent. Even some dudes been playing and they've been going to the league, but Michigan State's just too good. I don't know how they're not ranked either.
Yeah, it's so weird.
They're so well coached. Compared to other teams in college basketball, like Kentucky, who has Oscar Tshiebwe, like Gonzaga, who has Drew Timme, they have the guy you can give it to, the guy that can show up. Michigan State doesn't have that guy, but yet they're all so well-rounded, and they all can contribute in their own ways, and they're so well coached by Tom Izzo that it just makes it so hard to beat them.
I think the thing, too, like you said, too, not having that guy, they have a lot of, like, veteran experience. You're not getting those 5 stars who come in for a year and leave. They know how they want to play. They know what the coach wants, and they stick together and they make sure there's no egos or anything. It's that culture in the coaching that really can make a team in college basketball succeed. There's reasons why you'll see teams like St. Peter's beat Kentucky or whoever else in the tournament because of experience and just connected culture. You can't really get that with a bunch of freshmen 5 stars.
No, experience really matters, especially in the tournament.
Yes, in the tournament.
And you can really tell with these teams that ever since Loyola Chicago made that deep run that one year, they've been in it each year, and you're like, whoa, this is not – it doesn't matter if they're the worst seed in it. It doesn't matter. They still have a chance because they've been there before. They know what it takes, and they've seen it done.
100%. We're going to move on to some trivia here.
Oh.
It's some Thanksgiving NFL trivia.
No.
So it's NFL. I'm gonna fail, but we'll try.
What NFL team has the most wins on Thanksgiving? I'll give you 4 choices. That'd be way too hard.
Yeah. Multiple choice, please.
Okay, if it's multiple choice.
Okay, A, the Bills. B, the Bears. C, the Lions. Or D, the Cowboys.
I'm gonna go with Cowboys.
Yeah, Cowboys.
Incorrect.
Oh,
is it
the
the
Bears.
Lions?
It's the Bears. Bills?
It's the Lions.
That was gonna be my first pick because it seemed the most outlandish. But I was like, nah, Cowboys.
The Lions?
The Lions have played the most on Thanksgiving.
Oh, well then.
As well. But they also have the most losses on Thanksgiving.
They the most
wins.
wins.
Because the Lions play every year.
Exactly.
For some reason.
Exactly.
See, I should have gone with that pick. Because that was
Like,
in my mind, that was my first pick.
Doesn't the Lions want a Thanksgiving? Don't they want to be at home with their families? Like, they don't want to play. Wow.
Okay. What 2 teams that have played on Thanksgiving have never won? And all of these teams, not sure if they have or not. I do know one team in the NFL that hasn't is Jacksonville. That's just off the top of my head. But we'll go through this. And 2 of these teams. So, A, the Buccaneers and the Bengals. B, the Rams and the Ravens. C, the Panthers and the Eagles. Or D, the Jets and the Seahawks.
C.
I'm going to go with the Panthers and the Eagles.
The Panthers and Eagles, is that your choice too?
What's C? Yeah, Panthers and Eagles, yeah.
Incorrect.
Let me guess. It's the Bengals.
What's your guess?
Wait, yeah, the Bengals. I don't never remember
the Buccaneers and the Bengals.
That was also my first pick in my mind, but I was like, that's no.
I don't remember.
I need to just go with my first.
Watching the
yeah,
Bengals
they've never been on there.
Speaking of that, the Bengals have played once.
Yeah, I knew they played once.
What
that's why
year did they play? 2001.
I was just bored.
2010.
Ew, I forgot how.
1996 or 1990.
So their one was 2001, was 96, and
2001, 2010, 1996 or 1990. Which year?
96.
I don't know. 2001.
More recent than that, 2010.
Really?
2010.
Was that even an option?
Yeah.
Yes,
I wasn't paying attention.
2010, and they were 0-1.
Wow.
They have yet to play on Thanksgiving since.
Because they lost.
Because they lost, yeah.
One more question. What quarterback has the most career passing yards on Thanksgiving? A. Tony Romo. B. Matthew Stafford. C. Kurt Warner. Or D. Carson Palmer. Most career passing yards by
Matthew Stafford.
I'm gonna go with Teddy Romo.
You're correct.
Really?
I knew it. Yeah.
Because Detroit.
The Lions.
I forgot he played for Detroit. I only think of the Rams. I'm a fool.
I was thinking it's either Tony Romo or Matthew Stafford. I was like, well, Matthew Stafford's played the most.
Yeah,
on Thanksgiving, so I was like, it has to be him.
Him playing in Detroit has been completely removed from my mind, or I would have picked him because they played every stinking year.
All right, one more.
I got an F. I haven't even passed a single one of these.
Hey, now you know, though.
Yeah, now I know.
Now you reminded him that the Bengals.
All right.
Suck.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people on Thanksgiving, they say what they're thankful for. I mean, there's a ton of things that you could be thankful for. But this is a sports show, so I want to ask you all, what are you thankful for but sports edition?
That I have witnessed that a lot of teams haven't, especially in this city.
Don't look at me.
Especially in this city. I am thankful that my team in the NFL, I've seen them win a Super Bowl.
I got a couple, but I'll go with my first one. And I'm thankful that the Bengals drafted Joe Burrow, so I could at least see
a good one.
a playoff win in my lifetime.
Yeah.
What's your next
one?
one?
I didn't know if we're going to... Okay.
Go on to your next one. So.
Two more. So the second one is, and it's going to be kind of a two-parter, I am thankful that UC is going to the Big 12 and that they got Luke Fickell. And my third one, which is kind of more of a cheeky, funny response, is that I'm thankful that I got to see NKU beat UC.
But you're a UC guy, so.
Yeah, I like them both.
You said you had one more?
That was it.
That was okay.
NKU beating UC.
Okay. So, I probably have a couple off the top of my head, but I'll go with the first one is probably the Packers going with Aaron Rodgers when Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers were kind of in that mix. It was, do we stick with the guy who's given us all this success, or do we go with the young guy? It was a guess. I mean, and the guess to go with Aaron Rodgers. It went well. I mean, the MVPs he's won. He brought us another Super Bowl. And so like you said, that connects to that. I'm thankful for that too, because it is hard to win a Super Bowl. Extremely hard. And I'm glad that in my lifetime my favorite team has been able to do that.
Everyone keeps looking at me.
So and I will say, I mean, I'm a big Kentucky basketball fan. I've seen them win a national championship too. So I'll put that at number 3. Just that I've been, and that I'm from Kentucky. I mean, because I kind of grew up with my family because they're from Kentucky too, loving the Wildcats. So then now I kind of too. And so it's not like a bandwagon thing. It's like I grew up watching them.
And I mean, I got to see UC be the first G5 team to make it to the playoffs. That's a fun one. And I can tell you something I'm not thankful for. That's Zach Taylor's play calling. Something I'm not thankful for.
There you go.
I'm going to throw this one out there, too. I'm thankful for, this isn't even sports related, just everybody that works behind the scenes. You two, we
love you, Seth and Brady.
We put a lot of effort into this, and everybody behind the scenes. everybody that helps out, even if it's just you help out on one show. It really means a lot to us.
Oh yeah, for sure,
It does.
for
It
sure.
does actually mean a lot.
As we wrap it up here, I do want to thank the people, and I want to thank our camera person Gracie Hahn doing a very great job with the camera, and because that's a big part of this show. I want to thank Seth Jackson, our producer, for helping out with everything, coming in before and helping set everything up. And then, even though he's not able to make it today, and we hope he feels better as soon as possible, our editor / audio guy,
Producer.
he does a lot.
He does
Brady
a lot.
Kramer, he could make it today again. Not feeling the greatest. We hope he gets better quickly, and just want to thankful for all of the students and thankful for our professor Wes Akers. Obviously, where the heck would we be without? Yeah, yep. And thankful for everyone else that has been a part of this or helped us. But that's going to wrap it up.
We're thankful for our guests that appeared.
Our guests too. Our
guests. And the ones that have signed the jerseys.
Yep. Joe Danneman, Jason Payne, Drew McDonald, Cole Murray. We're glad to have all of them on. But again, that wraps it up for today for our Thanksgiving themed show. We hope everyone enjoyed. From Bryan Bauer, Noah Miller, and myself, Josh Kalb. Have a good day, everyone.
Bro, kiss them.